Over the past 3 years, AI has moved from experimentation to embedded infrastructure inside cybersecurity operations. AI native security operations centers are now triaging over 100% of alerts in under 1 minute, with containment times dropping from roughly 2 hours to about 2 minutes. Today, I have with me Mina, who is going to share with us about our experience and also a little about our journey. Thank you so much, Mina, for coming to the show.
Thank you, Rafael, for having me, and thank you for the invite. I'm so happy to join Pathfinder Network, as I believe here is the quality of the info that you share. I really find it very, very valuable. I'm one of the big fan of your series, and I'm so happy to join you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for saying that. It's good to have you here. You started out your career as a bug bounty hunter and also a software engineer back in 2017 before moving into leadership and teaching. And looking at that decade-long journey, was there a specific moment where you realized the old way of manually hunting threat was dead and we were in the era of AI?
Yeah, it was a big, there was a big journey behind and based on the what roles that I have. And even from last 5 years, working continuously in the SOC operation teams and then working on the day-to-day work in the, I don't know, exactly touching the real world threat. Over the time, we noticed that there is a lot of, we say alert fatigue between the analysts. There is a lot of repetitive tasks. And the traditional way that we triage the alerts, going line by line in the SIM logs, and then decide to what investigation skills or what investigation playbook you should pull out. All of those things, you notice that the quality of investigation and then how the people can be overwhelmed or they said alert fatigue or all the mistakes that human can make because it's not necessary because of lack of the investigation skills, because of all of this pressure of unnecessary jobs. We notice, yes, that traditional models is not really works because the threat landscape changed. So it,
Mm.
even today is not same as yesterday. So how it can not change during the last 5 years or last 10 years, and you cannot control. So the best way is that even before going to respond to the alerts or attacks that already happened, now we are in the phase that we should even look as a putting some policy for prevention. So based on all, notice that even from, I can say last 5 years, the traditional models, the manual alert triage mitigations, they are not really working because of all of those reasons I mentioned. And we really needed that we need a new solution in any concept or any kind of threat landscape or attackers perspective. It's not working anymore.
Well, I agree with you. The threat landscape has changed over the years, and it also keeps changing.
Yes.
And the type of threat that we faced, and the speed, the velocity at which they come to us, they attack us, has also changed. So we need a new thinking. We need a new. Before we move on, just how did you start in cybersecurity? What was the journey like for you?
Security. I used to work as a technical job back home, and then I moved to Canada as a student, and I studied networking, wireless networking, and then after that I studied cybersecurity. I graduated 2021, and 3 months after graduation, I joined Bell Canada as a security operation analyst. So it was exactly, let's say, the official start. But before that, I used to work in college or in the university as a junior analyst. The official time that I can say is 5 years ago that I specifically start to work in the 724 security operation team, which translate to blue team. So we are defense side rather than the offense.
Yeah, it's good. So I think I spent some time as a blue teamer on that team, and it's great to see how attacks. It's great to see how threats are coming and how you're able to triage them. We keep hearing that AI is coming for our jobs. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that because we've talked about using AI to mitigate, using AI to do some other tasks, while humans will spend more of their time as a supervisor, analyst as a supervisor model. So if AI is now handling over 90% of the routine triage or routine alert triage, what does the actual workday look like for a human analyst in 2026?
The part that you mentioned, keeping the AI in the triage level, that's really effective. Based on my on learning over last 2-3 years, that we deploy those kind of solution in security operation team. And as you mentioned, many companies now successfully deployed that AI solution. Keeping those agents or those AI assistants, because they are integrated in different let's say SOC tools, keeping them in the triage is really effective because easily they can summarize the alerts, they can find the patterns, they can eliminate the false positive. So all of those things here. But based on a lot of things that we are seeing in the real world, like a risk of hallucination, like the incorrect output, like the bias in the result that we get from AI. So the best scenario can happen when the human is work as a supervisor, that they call it human in the loop. So whatever AI give us, we need the human judgment to see if the information that AI gathered, is it something that we are looking for? Because the way that AI is working is like a pattern match. So it's looking in your information and then with based on whatever is backbone of your system. So try to give you some recommendation. But is it necessary whatever is working in your environment, or is it something that you are waiting? And then for investigation, even you can use those information for the investigation part, or after that, whatever we say as a incident response phases. So for the containment, some companies, they believe that they can even go to more phases to even containment and ask the AI to do that. But honestly, there is a lot of scenarios that you can see that it's not necessary true positive. So keeping as a stage of information gathering, pre-triaging, even triage. But after that, always have the human to look all of those information, and human should be a decision maker. That's really important, because now I'm just changing this answer to next level is one of the things that I believe even is part of leadership upskilling. So how or when a leader should be or stay on top of any team, and they believe this information that people are taking decision based on that, when we should override the decision of the AI is doing, when step in or when let them do. Because of all of those things, having those information helps a lot for the, respect the MTTC, MTTR, all of those metrics, KPIs. But for the validation of whatever comes from the AI, we always should keep the human, because of even nature of the black box of the AI. We don't know what's happening. So even now you can rely, you don't know for next step or next case what comes as the output. So AI can help us. I always, Rafael, look at AI as a team. Let's assume you are onboarding AI as of one of your teammates, and you should let AI learn, and you should teach AI to be your teammate. But you should always stay and let them work, and you look what they are doing. This is, I think, in the security operation works.
A lot of things that we need to think about when we deploy AI. And we've also seen a couple of agentic security operations center where AI plans and executes its own investigation. But I want to just confirm from you because, yes, I've been in the investigation side of things before. I moved to security management and finally to it. But is agentic SOC in reality yet? Or is it still mostly marketing hype?
So as you said, we should really differentiate between what is marketing side and what is the real world side. And what is the company that we are working or we are leading, what they want to stress. Because sometimes you want to just have the customers. So, but sometimes you want to keep the customers. Of course, when we are talking about autonomous SOC, which is something that you, as you said, AI take all the jobs and make a decision and then go to the containment, everything. So this is a really, really fancy concept. And let's assume, for example, you have it like as a service, they call a lot of names. It's really, really interesting marketing. But what is in the real world that we are working in the security operation team, what we see, what agents are giving us as a result. And I'm not talking about a specific agent. I'm talking about the whole agent that are deploying in the security, whatever we are working, whatever other company are talking about. So if I want to rename, I go from the autonomous to semi-autonomous. So it means
Okay.
that the integration of the agent and human. But we need to have those understanding to keep the human. Back to your point, it is a really fancy marketing things because they believe that, or they say that they can replace whole team, all the escalation, all the criteria, everything with the one agent or one AI tools. And of course, I always say AI doesn't have the sick day, AI doesn't have a child, the AI doesn't have a bad day. We don't have a lunch break for AI. So that's why the company said, of course, we don't need even to pay the bonus to the AI. So everyone look at the numbers. But if you want to keep your customers, if you want to provide high quality service and credibility matters to your company, of course, you should keep the human. And honestly, I always said that we are not in the fight with the AI. We are shoulder to shoulder. In that case, we can help and we can save our life because we should just try to keep the speed or pace the AI. But otherwise, I really cannot take the human from any one of the phases that AI wants to make decision. I'm on the side of the human in the loop.
Yeah, I'm also on the side of human in the loop. The accountability must be with the human. You cannot tell a machine to be accountable for whatever the output is. How do you keep yourself sharp? How do you prepared and ready to take action whenever a situation arises, like a high stress problem?
I can go to one step back, like one of the conferences I did, and I always mention that we have a skill gap in security. So we never reach that point that we have a entry level, medium level, and senior level. We have entry level and we have senior level. And now let's add AI on top of that one. So we always have mentoring problem in the security. The
Mm.
mentors that we had in cybersecurity, they ask us to do certification or go for theoretical. But the people that are the hands-on mentors, if you get a chance or you are lucky to have that kind of mentors that they do hands-on, so that was so beneficial for everyone. But now adding AI, so I think the skill gap is much more bigger. But how we can look at that one again is, to me, is again looks really depends on your perspective or what's your approach. So as we mentioned, it's working and it's learning 24 hours, which is not possible for us. So I really think the way that myself or the team can learn and stay in the track, not behind, not regret, is like learn from the way that AI is thinking or making decision, because you always have, for example, for any agent that they taking decision, you have the chain of thought. So,
Mm.
and you can see, even you work on any agent, you can put and can show you the chain of thought. So the way that is working, of course, stay in the news, stay updated, or all of those things. And we need constantly learning, or we say lifetime learner. But the way that AI is thinking, I found it really helpful even for myself. If it's making any decision based on what, let's say, artifact, based on what criteria, and what was the lesson learned from this discussion. So, and you can see in security operation, specifically when AI is giving you incident summary, you can see how it's concluded. You should make sure you provide that playbook again. It's based on whatever you needed. But staying sharp in the AI era is a really big objective for everyone,
Yeah.
not just for security team, not for just the operation team, for everyone. And you can add the policy gap at the same time. compliance, everything. That is a big another discussion. But to me, stay just in the track of what is coming, for example, in our queue, and how AI is do the pre-triage, and if you're making decision, this is the true positive based on what fact is automatically helping us to learn from that specific scenario. But other than that, we always make sure that we are learning from whatever is coming, because honestly, that's a big battle now, and no one knows, and it's okay, but we cannot stay in that blind world. You should take some action. That's why we do a lot of courses just to learn how these tools are working.
You actually struck it. It's very important for us to understand how AI makes its decision with whichever platform that we use. Uh, I know automation is in place. More than 40% of organizations have utilized, integrated automation as part of their workflow. Do you have like an advice on how we can further leverage automation to improve mental health of employees rather than just piling more complex work?
Burnout is very common in the security team, cyber security. And I used to work on some concept, and still I'm working as a cyber emotions. Everything that you experience during any cyber security incident, they call it cyber emotions, and it's a scientific uh, context, and it's in different level. It depends from which level of organization you are talking. For example, if you are thinking about yourself in this AI time, if you are thinking for your team, or if you are thinking about your company, so of course the recommendation or the solution are different. But using the automation is still, I feel it that 2026 is the year of automation for everyone. And at the same time, we should, make a resiliency and automation in the parallel together. And all of those things, the solution, that automation is kind of giving the people that feeling now, okay, it takes my task that you're used to, for example, spend 1 hour to do this task, and automation now is doing 5 minutes. So I heard people say, is it something that I could do that before, for example, do this task 55 minutes less? And it means, people start to doubt themselves, or, it's kind of things that automation is looking. But I look at automation as a stress reliever. So you should look at that case as something that is kind of helping yours and your team to just do the more meaningful job rather than repetitive, unnecessary task, or all of those false positive that we do. So regarding the mental health, the approach that we have about automation, and I really want to keep automation and AI separate in security operation, because you can do automation even without using the AI. You can, you can do some tuning. You can look what is the area that you can improve your tools, or do some solution, and you don't use AI. That's why I really think that not necessary AI should be involved in those things. But the way that you look at the automation, if you just think that it comes in your service rather than your replacement, so it's really important. Because if you think that, okay, this solution is here to help me, that I can do my job more effective, automatically it can help give you more peace of mind. But in the other scenarios, for example, you can deploy some agent even as a stress reliever. That I saw that in, even I work on one prototype that it was checking your stress level based on NLP and LLM language, and then they can check your change in tone or in your typing, or all of things you can deploy now with the all the capability of AI agents have. You can deploy even your own agent. Of course, everyone are not going to those solution. In the big picture, I can say that people just look at that as a tool that is going to be in my service. Automation supposed to be save us time, and it's the art of leadership that how you want to allocate that time that we save by automation for our team. They said that the best thing is that putting that time for R&D. So let people learn. So, and then be innovative. So, everyone try to think out of the box and then provide more ideas and keep that brainstorming window open. So to me, this approach can help us to take care of our mental health in a day-to-day life.
And that's very good. Thanks so much for sharing that, and also the stress relief that you said you worked on. It helps to know, because yes, AI is helping us to tackle more complex tasks, which if care is not taken, because you now have so much time to reallocate, which that people can have more time to work on more complex and more demanding tasks, which is great. Let me take you a little bit to something very important to me as an individual, as an ally. I so much love inclusion and diversity, and the data keeps showing that women, they hit the ceiling, the top of their career, maybe in 6 years. So after 6 years, they just hit the ceiling and they couldn't move forward again due to so many things. And as of the fairness side of things, how does a lack of diversity in cybersecurity, or a lack of diversity on a team, be it in tech or whatever, how does it actually make our AI systems more vulnerable to bias and blind spots?
That's amazing question. Wow. It's a very deep, very tangible question, because one of the big cases that I work on, that one about the bias. It was
Uh,
about gender bias and skin color bias and the
uh,
age bias, all of those things. So maybe it's to the people that I'm saying gender bias, what is the, correlation between the AI systems? If we want to have the best output or best results of any AI system that we are working, we should make sure that we are training those AI with healthy, high quality data. And how it's possible? One of the biggest and most important approach is that you should make sure that people from different background, from different community, from different geographical locations, they fit your AI. So if you don't have the diverse team that they are working constantly with the AI and they are not fitting your team, your AI, so of course the information that you get as an output, it would be highly biased.
mm,
So, for example, let's assume the best scenario is that we have our own internal biases as a human bias. So it could be one task that me and Rafael, they assign one task to both of us and we do in different way. Based on whatever we learn, based on whatever experience we have in our life and whatever is past life, which is unique. Your life experience is unique. My life is unique too. So the best approach is that diverse people, different people from different background, they try to educate the AI in the teams. And based on that, they do different perspective and AI will learn from all of those people individually. And the result that comes will reflect all the different individual scenarios that different people can look at that. Diversity in the data, diversity in the team members, and diversity in the different background, which could be, for example, not just the data scientist fit the AI, not just the data scientist or the programmer, because they have their own algorithm bias inside, fit the LLM models in the different phases. Everyone from different level of the company, they should fit your AI and provide the information, and you can have the best. I cannot say we never have the zero bias, but the less bias info. And that information again comes to the human channel. So you can have the better idea. But let's assume if everyone that just have the same background, for example, let's assume there is all one team that there is no immigrant. We are all immigrant. So when there is no immigrant in the team, the information that comes is totally biased on those teams. But we give diversity to the teams, different background. I'm from different country. You are from another country. So the information that comes is much more less biased.
yeah, you said a lot of wonderful, beautiful stuff, which I totally agree with. It is the data that we feed into here the AI is going to return to us. So if the data is not of high quality, then it becomes a problem. Well, if you're to advise a senior leader, if you're to advise a manager how to fix an exclusion gap, if a team is just too close, it's not inclusive, there is no diversity on the team. What is that one thing that you've seen that work in the real industry, in the real world? How to fix the exclusion gap? What would that be?
You should look at diversity, not as a task, it's a privilege. If your team is diverse, it gives you the competitive privilege in the market because the data or the service that you provide to the team or to the client or to your organization, that data is very valuable. Because now the war or the battlefield is not about who is doing the AI. And even I believe 2026 is not even the year of the who is doing faster. It's really about contextual. Who is doing the better contextual automation, autonomy, whatever they are saying. So if you want to stay in the track in this market, which is not predictable, but something like diversity to me is super clear that if you want to stay in the race and you want to provide the information, for example, in a country is multicultural like Canada, full of immigrants, so you can see that I always say this country is a stand on the shoulder of immigrants because it's really important. Everywhere you go, you can see that there is people that working with the Canadian people and they are from different backgrounds. So if you want to have the better visibility, you should make sure the service that is coming with the AI is the better or the quality is better. And if you want to reach to that point, based on what that said, is that you should have the diverse team. You should look at, first of all, the equality that I know that in the STEM now they said you should have always, for example, the women and the men, the ratio is should be, imbalance. So before you used to this, the industry, they said the male dominated. And fortunately, we have now women that they break down in cybersecurity. But rather than that one, you should always make sure that a different background, for even having the people that break down to security from other field, because security is one of the field that people can come, for example, not necessarily they should come from the IT engineer. I know someone that came from another culinary background. So even on those things, you should look at privilege because that person have different perspective. I really encourage every manager that they are going to do the hiring, look at the pattern of hiring in your team and how it looks like. As you said, is it looks like the clothes and it looks like the same mindset people or no? Because if you have just same mindset, how you learn from each other? If Rafael, you say something and I said that's my idea, so there is no challenge, there is no conflict. And if there is no conflict, how we learn from each other, how we correct each other if we just want to say. And honestly, with the background that people, if they come from same background, so definitely they will learn or they will try to share the info like that. I really suggest them that if you want to have the best team, put the diversity as one of the priority.
Yeah, putting diversity as one of the priorities, not as a task. Let's move a little bit away from that. Talk about cybersecurity careers in an AI-driven world. The required, when you started out like 5 years ago, what people are looking for in a junior analyst is different from what they are looking for now. One of the major skills that people are looking for is critical thinking. But if you had 30 days to prepare a junior analyst and make them AI proof, what would you have them do?
I know there is a stress that the AI will take the job. I cannot say it's 100% wrong. AI will take job of the people that they resistant or they don't want to follow whatever is happening. So automatically, if you don't start to learn, if you don't start to adopt, because we never had the adoption time with AI. AI just came and is there hype, all of those things is over. Now 2026, now is March. So, this is even last month of the Q1. So if you just want to stick to the traditional things that, as you said, for example, what they ask for the analyst or the any other people, so of course you will not stay anymore, or maybe not long in this industry. And you should accept that fact that everything is changed. As soon as everyone accept that everything is changed, of course, is the best time to start. But if I want, me personally, as you said, to do the hiring for the anyone, an AI proof one, so I just try to tell them that, and of course there is no baseline anymore. Before maybe it was like you should start from the scratch, but there is no scratch, no baseline right now. Just let them, let's say, I really love to equip them, people with the thinking that something out of the box, but in a case, as you said, critical thinking. Don't accept whatever you see. Don't follow whatever is in the work. Just think why it's happened. And if it's happened in that way, is there any other way that it can save something? And something can be money, can be labor time, can be time, or any all of those things. So now, honestly, one of the challenging things that happens is that in any industry, now they ask anyone to be innovative.
Mm.
And innovative, Raphael, is not or being innovative or innovation is not something that comes over the night. So, but we should accept that. If you want to go up the ladder of the work that you are doing, going to the upper level, you should know that anything you do, you should be AI enhanced. Like we say for threat, you should be in AI enhanced. If you are working on anything, that's what I taught to my friends that they are not in security and said, oh my God, AI will get my job. I just said, as long as you learn how AI can help you in your job, they cannot take your job because you know. But of course, when they said you are doing something that some agent can do it easily, so you should always make sure that you have some added value to provide to the job that you are doing. And in that case, no one wants to take your job. Of course, there is a lot of job that, or all the layoff that we are hearing is happening. There is not, no one can ignore those things. But for anyone that is working, please make sure that everything you are doing, if even you don't like, AI is part of that one. So there is a one moment you should accept. I know still people struggle, but I accept it. So I mean, from that moment, my life is even better.
Yeah, I love how you actually responded to this. There are a lot of things that you can do to be AI proof, especially in this changing world. Try to embrace innovation, embrace change. Change is one thing that I know is going to be constant. All other things are going to change. Learn how AI can help your current job. If we look at it all, there will be a lot of roles that will disappear because of AI. There will be more that will be created. What is that one distinct human skill that AI will never be able to replicate? Especially if we are in a major cybersecurity crisis. Maybe there is a major breach, maybe there is an issue. What is that one skill that you think AI will not be able to replicate?
I think decision making.
Mm.
AI can make a decision, but decision making, or there is a very famous book that the theory of the truth. So how you make your decision or negotiation, because AI can write you a lot of amazing proposal, but the negotiation skills is one of the things that can change the game. And all of the good decision making, I mean, the best in at that scenario, all of comes from the critical thinking that you already mentioned. So it can save us. That's why I'm just saying that don't follow whatever you see if you are anyone in any level. So you should think that everything is going to be changed and look at that as an opportunity. Rafael, as you said, we should look how AI can help me. I think you experience definitely. I know that there is a lot of way that makes even studying easier. When you want to learn something, much than now with the help of all of the AI things, you can learn it much easier. You can change, you can find the information and you can put it podcast and you can make it as a slide less than 5 minutes and it give you amazing things. I mean, if we want to be fair, rather than all of those things, there is a lot of opportunity that comes and make life easier. A lot of admin tasks that you used to write a lot of things and now it will be done by AI, which is okay. what you should always check. Of course, there's mistakes sometimes, but the way that thinking and judgment, human judgment, I think that one AI never can. It can learn, but never can be replaced by AI, because we have some, the emotion that you said, because emotion comes from different scenarios or a different experience. Those emotion, the biases that human can spot in the AI results, and all the decision that human can make based on all of the criteria, I think they never can replace with the AI. So decision making and critical thinking, I think it can be the survival skills in this time. And it's not, I honestly, maybe it looks very simple, or maybe it's very common thing that people say, but I started to learn about negotiation, and then
Yeah.
it opens a lot of doors to me and said, wow, it's a new world. So don't take it that much simple. Decision making can change the life.
Yeah, I perfectly agree with you. When I was, asking you this question, what I had in mind myself was decision making. One thing that AI, no matter how agentic it is that during a major crisis, AI won't be able to make decisions. And making timely decision, making good decision in the face of a crisis under pressure is a skill that we should learn. To conclude this conversation, how do you stay sane? How do you keep your mental health in check? What do you do?
There is a different circles. I maybe you heard about that one. So the one of the thing is that the circle of control. One of them, this is the circle of intrusion. One of the circle of the decision. So if you know that what you can control and what you cannot, or what is something that you can make decision is in your power or is not, it really helps you that what is your spot in these scenarios that you said. Of course, adversary is working, but is it something that I can stop in my level? For example, as a one human, can I change the world? Let's be realistic. I can do something, but in 8 hours of the work, can I do it? Can I change it? So knowing those facts helps a lot. And the other side, as accepting this job is a stressful job. Accepting that we are always fighting and we are not working in the peaceful, amazing workspace. We are always fighting with the bad people, bad guys, that they want to take ownership of the website, of the URLs, of they do phishing, and they never sleep. And now they put AI in their hands. So that one helps me that, for example, if I see something is happening, so I think, okay, I can do, and this is my level. This is something that I can control, but I cannot control all the attacks, because just look at the number of attacks that's happening every day. I think it helps a lot. And the other thing is work-life balance. So they said a lot, but really it's a big concept. So digital detox days, for example, that's one of the best approach, that if you do some days without screens, if you do some days that without having any interaction, and just have a quality time for everyone is different. Sometimes going to nature, sometimes with family, sometimes with your, you know, safe person. All of those things in the security, they means more to us, and you cannot change your life even you work until 9 p.m. because there could be an attack that work 9:30. And I don't mind if I scare someone that is really scared. I just said, okay, if you just turn off your laptop, maybe 5 minutes later, there is another attack. Because you should accept that. We are human, and I can uh, guarantee that a lot of attacks that is happening that we never notice. That's the part that AI should help us. So why not AI thinks, okay, AI doesn't sleep, so we can sleep, we can have a better work-life balance, and we can put the AI in that time, work for us as one of the tools, and then we can come and check what was the output. And as I said, we can learn from that one. So if I want to wrap up what I said, one of them is just knowing what we have control, what is our spot, what is our responsibility, and what we don't have control. And accepting those things, and at the same time, work-life balance. And we are not superheroes. I'm talking about managers. We are not robots. We are not superheroes. We are same person as you, that now you are manager and you are VP, and there is someone which is analyst, specialist, all of those things. I mean, in the nature, we are same. So don't have unrealistic expectation from the people, specifically the people that they never choose to come to the AI. AI came to our life. So if it's something that you are scared, they are saying. So don't have something that, okay, you should learn, you should know. I heard a lot from the managers in the other companies that you should know what to do. If AI knows how you don't know, okay, it's not, it's not a constructive feedback session if you want that person improve. So just look, we are human and we learn together. And of course, we can have a better discussions.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think one of the best things that you can do for yourself as a human is to know what is within your control.
Yes.
And what is outside of your control. And I used to tell people, in as much as you want to help, you want to do a lot of things, you have limitations. You have limitations, and you should be able to manage your expectations, as you have said. It's actually been great chatting with you,
Thank you.
Nina, today. Thank you so much for bringing yourself, your originality, and your vulnerability to this conversation. Sharing part of your stories and also giving advice to people on what exactly to do to kind of AI prove their career or AI prove their life. It's been a great pleasure discussing this with you today. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Same for me. From the first day I know you, I'll always learn from you. And today is one of those days. Thank you for having me on your amazing podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. So everyone listening, thanks so much for tuning in to this session. If you found one thing or the other, in this conversation with Nina, please share with a friend or a colleague who is trying to figure out their own path in this AI-driven world. Your support would continue to keep us bringing this insight to you, and see you next time.